afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero Strike Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to an exciting 1 vs 1. On crossing those between the south, we got Fortune fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Taking on the role here of Germany, obviously, but rolling out here with the 1st SS Panzerdivision versus the north. We got here Vietnamese LF Lausanne, also known as SturmtigerFish, with double rifle start here, re-echelons with airborne rifle and infantry, triple infantry versus Jaeger infantry, elite troops, and lightning war with triple infantry as well for Fortune. Though note again, 1 for fast infantry production. Also further worth noting is that all of the doctrines opens up for G43 for the Grenadiers here for Fortune. Just going here for a double Grenadier. Starting on MG42, so you might notice. Fortune has certainly confided in me that currently in the current meta, he feels like you basically got to go for a lot of Grenadiers as the Wehrmacht, which I've certainly seen is an opinion I've seen echoed here and there as well. So, we'll see here how he actually goes for this fight though or not. But he could be likely. There you go. 3rd Grenadier Squad. No support weapons as yet. He's pushing hard east with the Grenadiers. The Pioneers moving westwards. Might be just a stall, grab some extra territory, scout out, figure out what SturmtigerFish there's up to. 3rd Grenadier Squad on the way there for Fortune, obviously, almost done. 3rd Rifle Squad on the way for SturmtigerFish. There you go, 3rd Grenadier Squad there for Fortune and the German army. So pretty quiet here as both sides securing territory. Now they're seeking out engagement. Actually, Fortune's kind of hoping that Fish there walks into his lines of fire, but so far, no sign of that. He's also keeping his Grenadiers close to each other so they can support each other, by the way, if things gets, suddenly shooty, bang, bang, which of course is a very sound tactical approach. 3rd Grenadier Squad there, and we go reasons flying with Grenadiers in the east. 3rd Grenadier Squad also much support. So we can see it's initially also just converging his Grenadiers to the same zone of combat, so you can focus fine, basically get anything dead. Since, like, Grenadiers 1-on-1 versus Rifle Squad have very slim chance of actually winning the engagement, so obviously working them together is the best choice. And meanwhile though, Fish is just harassing about. They're looking for easy targets, hitting the rear lines, and he's doing so, hitting the calf point to the other. So he's not hitting that one though, but he might be planning to hit that soon enough. 4th Grenadier's got their Fortune, so it looks to be a heavy Grenadier build. Grab the fuel there, grab the point here. Fuel secure there for the Fatherland, and 4th Grenadier's got their arriving. So triple rifleman, and we got take up this robot here for SturmtigerFish into the platoon command post and the lieutenant. No, he does not go for the other calf point. Straight up, perhaps anticipating Fortune responding with his Grenadiers. And there we go, got the first doctrine. It is Rifle Company here from SturmtigerFish. Fighting here by for the 2nd Armoured Division. Grenadiers pushing onwards, not quite supported by their Grenadier Squad, was just leaving them weaker here versus Fish's Riflemen. And up north, the Grenadier Squad, they're on its own. Suddenly, Fortune is overextending heavily, having otherwise been from much more tactical conservative. They're going for a 5th Grenadier Squad. We've got flamethrowers, though, so the Grenadiers need to retreat. In the south, Grenadiers still losing out to the Riflemen as well, getting focused down and overall just not doing too well there. And Pioneers still laying down S-mines on the fuel point there to make it harder there for Fish to harass. Also punishing in case, so he goes for flamethrowers and not going for any mines for them. In this case, he said no, so he can punish him for it. Grenadier Squad will go up, bit of a loss there for the German army, already in the first opening moments of the game. Lieutenant there running for Fish, rather than getting slowly shot to bits, and there go just more of his point behind the only piece of heavy cover in the area, unless on the other side of the road. One Grenadier's got the retreating, by the way. I mean that low in health, but looks like Fortune is taking no chances. Might want to build a medic bunker fast. In the meanwhile, Fish sneaking about, hitting up the calf points in the northern field. Very good work there. Pioneer sneaking about. There we go. One rifle squad pushed back, and as soon as he does, he rushes the other rifle squad with the Grenadiers, forcing a successful retreat there. Nothing going on here for Fortune and the German army. Up here we got the M20 on the way there for Fish. Pioneers almost got the munitions point there. The interesting enough is not trying to connect the western fuel. And there go Grenadiers converging on the eastern squad with their flamethrower, connecting up, grabbing the victory point as well. And what is this? We got telemarks going up here, very close, inside hostile territory. This is actually pretty sneaky. It's in a aggressive positioning, but more importantly, it's essentially within Fish's territory. And the thing is, people tend to have a blind spot when it comes to their territory. They tend not to suspect mines in most cases. So this is pretty devious. And again, he knows his opponent also has gone for flamethrower, so chance of a mine squad is much lower. Since Fish is not likely to anticipate mines again, particularly not inside his own territory. So there's a high likelihood this teleman's going to pay off quite nicely versus Fish and the 2nd Armoured Division. There you go, M20 pursuing their armoured skirts in the way. In this case, it's actually better if it doesn't hit the Telemann right away because he wants that munitions upgrade. There's 70 munitions to go to waste. But there you go, full fallback here as the M20 strikes, causing a collapse in the 1st SS. Its lines. For now, and there you go, M20 sitting out. Close there, almost got the armoured skirts ready. Pops out to grab the point. Actually, just as it almost finishes, it actually ends up cancelling it. No, Bob, if you do pop up before the upgrade is ready, it gets cancelled. Used to. I know. Quick note there. Ambulance on the way there for Fish. For America. Freedom. The Fish of Freedom. Fortune following up here with the Granatenwerfer, the 8cm version, obviously. Not exactly anything other in the game. So they did make use of the 120mm mortar, which they very much preached, outright copied from the Soviets, and just used this design straight up without any modifications, I think, actually. It's a little fun fact there, by the way. We got a medic bunker up. The gun is pushing it. Going to reconnect the fuel there, which is definitely needed. So doesn't want to fall behind Fish there. We also got to take a bit like to make a nice company for the German army. Ravening about here, and they're going 20 good to go, and straight into the Telemann. Kaboom. You know, Fritz, I feel like, you know, something very nice happened now. Yeah, Otto, I agree with you. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I agree with you. So Gunnis moving forward, we get a mortar supporting. Like to make a nice company up. Gunnis pushing up east. Full Gunnis squad with 3 Rifle Lieutenant and the rear echelons. Mortar farms here doing some nice work there for the German army. Lieutenant there could in theory become a mortar attack. I mean, he's relatively close to the mortar, and he's also bunched up so the mortar puts round in the right place. Quick secure wipe. Hello. And there we go. Full wipe on the Lieutenant. That's pretty damn good value for money there for Fortune. That is a huge swing there. I mean, he just took out a Lieutenant and an M20 in a short amount of time here. That's pretty big for Fortune. Riflemen here, the Grenadiers will have to retreat. They're basically up close, and the Riflemen have the undisputed advantage in close quarters combat versus the Grenadiers. Grenadiers versus Rearsen's being forced back. Like to make a nice company. Needs to get those Pioneers moving. A 2-2 could be a good option. Panzer Grenadiers could also work out, and particularly in the current state of affairs, we just go for the 2-2. And Fish has pulled for BARs to upgrade his woefully under-equipped riflemen with more tools of democracy. And here we got Grenadiers versus Rearslons. They're certainly putting them up there aggressively, making use of their firepower to burn back those krauts. The 2-2 is almost done. They go mortar fire raining down. Ooh, gets a kill. Almost got the Rearslon squad in its entirety. And there you go, almost took out an entire unit with the mortar run. We got the 2-2 out here for Fortune. Like to punch a spear back and sending out for the fatherland. 50 caliber following up there for Fish to deal with Fortune's infantry. Quite a few chunks he still got there. So there you go, right from the BAR space, we're going to squat there behind the wreckage of the M2. We've got the 2-2 moving up here. Can bombard, in this case he couldn't try and pull up close here, but they are close to M1, in which case he could risk an anti-tank rifle grenade. Flank here by the rifle behind Fortune's lines. Very good work there by Fish. Mortar fire on the rifle there, pushing that in the open. In the east, we've got Grenadiers pushing ahead here. And back in base, nothing further going for Fortune. Just rolling back. He's obviously a bit worried about his flank, his mortar, and other nasty. But there you go. Fish retreats very fast. Does not take any chances. And there you go. We got the Mardus, the 50 caliber out there. We also got bazookas on the flamethrower team. Certainly giving them a wide range of tasks. Alright, Carl, let's burn out those krauts and also blow up those kraut tanks. Don't you like need separate teams for that? This is America. We always aim to break the limits of what's possible. But, Sarge, shut up, Carl. I'll have you do minesweeping duty as well. But we can't carry that with your feet. Oh. I need the fuel up here with the Grenadiers. One night machine up there for Fortune. No sign of a doctrine as of yet. You should definitely benefit from that. I mean, some D-43s could help out a lot here versus Fish. Mortar firing down here, back here. Troops healing, reinforcing. Pack 40 on the way. He's obviously worried about more vehicles from Fish and the Americans. Mortar around there in the 50 caliber that does a nice work. Got loose in the western fuel point unit against the eastern, though that one is yet to be connected. Fortune here tries to stay nimble on his feet here versus Fish and the 2nd Armoured, but he loses mortar crew bit of loss there for Fortune. They did him quite a bit of good here, and if you could get into Tibet too fast, that would have been a pretty big thing there for Fortune. Obviously, we got the pack 40 moving up here, and we got a second 50 cover there for Fish, going to further look to control Fortune's infantry and its movements on the battlefield. Plus, of course, can be used to versus the 2-2 as well there. So some aggressive machine gunning. Plus, we got take up as well there. Moving on rapidly for the battalion command post and medium tanks. So Fortune's is going to find himself under some rather impressive pressure there from Fish. Fortune opting here for a 5th Grenadier squad. So he's very much sticking to that heavy Grenadier build he's got going there. And so there's any unit that would have been able to afford it with the SS since until like 1945. They essentially had an extra infantry battalion in each of the regiments. Panzer Division, Panzer Grenadier, SS Grenadier Division. Each one would have a much more infantry than a regular army division. That's a little fun fact there. But there you go. Grenadiers, there's a lot of rifle plus the 50 car. That's going to be a treat here. Plus here. Nothing to go out of the flamethrower team. They could move up the other Grenadiers got support. Or get, well, not the 2-2 in there. More light machine guns out there for Fortune. And there you go. Major out. Not major sea change there from Fish so far. Back here, reinforcement. We got no tech up further from Fortune. We're starting to consider pushing fast for some medium armor here. Always going to at least need another pack 40, but even then the question is what is he playing for? It's not for medium armor. Like, well, obviously there's the Tiger Ace or the Tiger Tank, but those would be a bit risky in most circumstances. They just spot it. It's just going to tell Fortune what's going on here from Fish's side, and they should probably expect something soon. Almost got the 50 caliber there with the mortar and the 2-2-2, but not quite successful. Not quite successful. Also, imagine there'll be more light machines away there for Fortune as time goes on. .50 caliber fire under mortar fire. Interesting enough, Fish is yet to consider mortars maybe sort of try and counter. Fortune's mortar just brought more support of his own men in a sort of another way than just 50 caliber machine guns, but so far, SturmtigerFish is a way of war, it would seem. Back here, still no take off for Fortune for the German army, and still no sign of adoption either. There's a bit of a sort of seeming aimlessness here from Fortune, besides just having a lot of Grenadiers. Oh, we got Panzer Grenadiers. Those might actually work out here. Nope, cancel it for more Grenadiers. He just wants more Grenadiers. He seemingly trusts only in the Grenadier now. Well, that worked out well. Mortar. Well, what did that actually? Like something wiped it, but no one seems to have sort of calculated losses. I don't know, I'm guessing it's a mortar hit or something. I don't know, that's the best suggestion. Even the mortar did not record it. We got artillery. White phosphorus here from Fish on Fortune's central position, burning up his mortar crew quite badly. So another loss for Fish is pretty good for Fortune. I mean, it does give him the definite infantry advantage with 6 Grenadier squads. Of course, there's a slight issue with this strategically, which is he can risk suffering huge manpower from it. Even that sometimes they sort of help support the offensive element, so this could backfire unfortunately if you're not careful. Plus there's just the issue of having to then manage 6 Grenadier squads plus everything else, which is probably why a lot of players tend not to go this heavy in the infantry, because it, you know, places a quite a considerable management burden. So there's a high likelihood that the Fortune's just going to begin at some point suffering heavier wipe, simply because he's going to struggle to keep pace with them all. He's going to begin blopping or do something silly with them. So we'll see here what ends up with Fortune. As for Fish, should probably consider some replacement soon, because at this rate he's going to certainly find himself falling behind the map control versus Fortune. That so far he's doing quite well despite having a lot less infantry. In fact, his force is now considerably smaller than Fortune and the German army. We got a second pack 40 there though for Fortune, clearly indicating he's stalling, most likely for Tiger tanks then. It's not that he's planning for tier 4, which would definitely not be recommendable, though he might still go there. So we'll have to see that. But again, he could have gone for lightning wall much sooner than he actually was planning for a tiger tank. Got the two rolling to the base. They're going straight for the ambulance. Fortune makes a raid for the fatherland, and there we go. Raiders of the Not So Lost Ark. Two, in fact, survives its daring and bold raid into American territory. Fortune, you cheeky bastard. Forced away from, could grab the fuel point in the west soon. That will certainly help Fortune and his Tiger plan. And of course, furthermore importantly, stall fishes get our tank and hit Fortune really badly with it plan. Though still, he's not operating a lot of infantry. He is not operating a lot of infantry.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
And this could certainly have out Fortune, unless again, you know, the whole having too many grenadier squads issue begins cropping up for him. We've got a lot of light machine guns up here, by the way. They could consider some G43s. Then again, at this stage, just having a lot of LMG 42s will probably serve him better. Rifling it off. Doesn't make much of an impact. Sweeping towards these for the rear of the riflemen. Grenadiers standing about to a bit on their own. So far, the Fortune is managing to juggle 6 infantry squads pretty well for now. But again, there's bound to be slip-ups. Bound to be slip-ups, to be mistakes. Flaws and faults. There you go, man. You're being blasted there. And in the east, they have Rifleman versus Grenadier. Or Racing versus Grenadier. To get them up there, that's a 3-5 man. EC8 though is being pushed out here by SturmtigerFish and the 2nd Armored Division. And there you go, 222. Might actually be in some trouble here. We got a lot of 50 cal fire to tank rockets. There we go, tying through the 222. And finally losing his one mobile asset, which is going to make it hard for him to actually contain fish, since the 222, I think, played a large role in keeping fish somewhat within control. Well, that and obviously in the 6 Grenadier squads with increasing large amount of machine guns. The trick though is going to be also then keeping all that in check when there's a rampaging Sherman tank on the field. And Fortune, of course, with all his machine guns there, does not have a lot of ammunition for mines. So he might be in for a bit of a rough experience. And there you go, Grenadiers needs being pushed back. EC8 moving out there for America, Freedom and Democracy. Not quite yet munitions there for the 50 cal, but not for that matter, territorial control. Quick retreat there against the EC8 Sherman. So named for, well, part of the designation of the E8. The Sherman here basically just had some better suspension compared to earlier models of the tank with the 76mm gun. Fun note. So there you go, got the 50 cal on the way there for the Sherman tank. Grenadiers versus Riflemen, light machine guns versus BARs. EC8 moving in, then the truck shatters in 1,000 pieces, majestically and miraculously not harming the Grenadiers behind it somehow. My God, Jürgen, yeah, I think we all need clean change of pants. Well, that might be the only casualty from that shot. The underwear. Got the EC8, they're rolling back. 50 caliber almost done. We got a big push into the west here with the rifle and the reactions and the 50 caliber. Fortune's going to close the Tiger tank. He's got plenty of resources beyond it, so he might be flooding a bit much. I mean, hell, he could take up and just begin setting up for other medium armor to then support him. I mean, that would in fact boost him up. They're getting tech and buildings, as the Wehrmacht does get a bit of experience from doing that as a fun note. So that could be an idea there for Fortune, just to speed up the Tiger tank. Still, he is yet to lose on any of his Grenadier squads after those initial losses. Though Fish still remains rather reluctant to replace his men. Perhaps he's feeling somewhere deep in his soul that those men can never truly be replaced in his heart. And of course ignoring the fact that they need to be replaced on the battlefield and not in his heart. Grab the center victory point there with the Pioneer. Because they're getting sniped by the Sherman. Grabbing the point here. Still nothing going on there for Fortune. So he is getting very close to the Tiger tank. Very, very close. I imagine here that Fish has got a pretty good idea of what's going on though. And he'll probably at some point begin setting up there for the Jackson tank destroyer here. Also tell him I'm there. Good work. Ooh. First wipe again, and sometimes in fact he suffered two. No, he's just suffered one. That can be scored with a light machine gun dropped at that though. Man's rifle I think can actually pick it up, so he has to get someone else to do it. There's a flanking about. There's Fortune continues to use his larger numbers, not going to say to block, but just going to try and outmaneuver, so to attack from a wider front, making it harder for Fish to defend. There you go, Major with a light machine gun. A major improvement. Haha. And there you go, 50 caliber remains. I mean, Fortune has kept the tank from this angle, so it's pretty much easy just for Fish to keep something there, in which regard he should consider, you know, attack for a broader point, or, you know, wider arc, and sort of get past here instead. But yeah, Fortune now extremely close to the Tiger tank, extremely close. And meanwhile, Fish, instead of going for more infantry, he's actually going for a third 50 caliber machine. It's almost like he's just replacing his infantry with heavy machine guns. And obviously they can't get bazookas and to take rifle grenades, but in other ways, I mean, the 50 caliber in the game is extremely nimble for, you know, a 50 caliber machine, which, you know, weighs about 50 kilos. And it's incredibly heavy, but, you know, suffers a bit from the same with the maximum. You can just, you know, very rapidly move about this. So it just seems like he's replacing infantry with machine guns, heavy machine guns like that. But there you go. Fortune's Tiger has arrived for the Vaterland. 101st SS Schwerpanzerabteilung. Hauptmann Fritz meldet sich für Dienst. Hans Fritz. But there you go. Of the Berlin Fritzes. Not the Vienna Fritzes, those pricks. But there you go. Rather than being pushed back by the Tiger tank, lacking any immediate sort of response to such a heavily armoured beast with an 88mm gun. Major miss though on the Major there by the Tiger tank. No open pin on my machine gun there. In the centre we got the conditional fire from the EC8. And how will he overreact to this? I mean, he's got one bazooka out to sort of really stop the Tiger. No tank destroyers and not any mines either really. So he's in a bit of a situation. I mean, he does have a victory point lead over Fortune, but in this case, Fortune's Tiger plan has paid off. Those Grenadiers are having a hard time with the 50 calibers. We got a second mortar though for Fortune. He's bringing up more artillery though. At this point, he could still easily just get away with taking up and bring out a Stug to support his Tiger. In fact, he could probably push out a Stug or even a Panther 4 to support his Tiger faster than his opponent. Could bring up a Jackson maybe. But there you go. That. You see it, there was a Tiger tank. Shots traded. Both penetrated. And there you go. Fish is finally going for a mortar to support his men against the vile Nazi scourge. Tiger tank rolling about here, spotting the rifle and opening up, and there you go. Gets Joe and Billy Bob Joe. Mortify, they almost finish him off there. Tiger sweeping ahead. Catch the rifle in the open, and there you go, decent hit. But he does make a mistake within range of the anti-tank rifle grenade, but nope. Fish does not react in time, or something goes wrong. Either way, though, it doesn't go off against the Tiger. That is pretty lucky there for Fortune, as he could easily have missed it. But there you go, he tries to push ahead now. Problem is he's not going to be pushing ahead into the Tiger directly with support. We've got white phosphorus on Fortune support position. Unleashing more chemical warfare. Catching the Pioneers and almost wiping out his mortar there. Pioneers also getting wiped out. They're going to need quite some time to get healed from those wounds. It's back here healing reinforcement. Moments away from the Jackson tank destroyer here for Fish. And freedom. Got the reasons ever the Grenadiers. M1 carbines, bazooka, flamethrower versus Carnite TKs and light machine guns. Well, light machine gun. But there you go, Tiger tank. No, not fully repaired. EC8 though is repaired. Flanked and gets a good hit on the Tiger tank. Tiger tank slowly rolls back. Does not fight this menace. Fish now calling in the bigger guns. He's calling in the Jackson. Yes, son. The Jackson. And Fortune, it's interesting enough, he's going for tier 4 now. Guess we might see a Tiger working with a Panther then. That would be interesting. So he's about to lose another Grenadier squad here. He's already lost another one, so he's just down to 4 now. As was, well, you know, bound to happen again. When you manage 6 Grenadier squads and all these other elements, you know, at some point they're going to get lost. But there you go. Tech up done. Mortar waiting still for a assignment. And they're going to come in. The one he's only actually got equipped with G35. The rest have been upgraded with the LMG-42. And there you go. Finish was the rifleman. Successfully falls on the back there with well-disciplined fire. And perhaps a few well-timed insults. Your mother was a Frenchman! Oh God! He knows! Retreat, men! Retreat! Jackson sitting out there. Still on the heavy Panther Corps. We got the side of the Panther though. If he's going to have a Tiger and a Panther and if he can help just for the Tiger, he's going to need more Pioneers because one Pioneer squad is not going to be able to sufficiently maintain the Tiger tank. I mean, obviously, might be, he wants to simulate the fact that at this point in the war, the German soldiers are heavily lacking in spare parts to repair the stuff, and this way willingly handicaps himself, because he's such, a devoted man to an extent, for that kind of realism. But there's also just likely hasn't occurred in there. But there you go. Jackson engaged the Tiger. 90mm gun penetrates the 100mm thick armor easily here. But we got packed forward, so they're supporting the Tiger tank. But White Phosphorus has been called in as well here. Jackson though has to fall back. And gets taken out there. He underestimated Fortune's anti-tank response, and his Panzerjägers were able to light the Jackson on fire. Here's the need to fall back. Generally, though, as the war progressed, the Germans were basically moving away from packs because they were just too heavy to move, but also importantly, they were lacking stuff to move them. That was one of the major issues, which is why sort of increasing the war went on. This sort of looked to Stuks and other tank hunters units to replace them. Well, Stuk obviously not a tank, but assault gun, but then assault guns were used as tanks. So it's also just stuff like like the Fulton communities where they just got a lot of pantry tracks instead, simply because it was just logistically a lot easier for them to maintain. Rather than you having to get all these transport about to get the packs moving. That's a little fun note. And they were looking to Stuks, for example, to fulfill that role. But also Hetzes and other things. Smoke's been down here from Fortune. In this case, though, seemingly a bit out of sync with whatever Fortune had planned. Unfortunately, no heavy Panzer Corps yet. Though it's still giving me some time for calling the Tiger. Fish is still some time off from any armor. Though I think Fortune, with a bit of good effort, could actually break through and do a lot of damage there to Fish. I mean, he's got a Titan, he's got infantry, he's got mortars, so a theoretically good, sort of well-timed assault with Fortune could bring Fish some problems. But Fortune's going to be fighting sort of small engagements here and there, which does make it easy for Fish to sort of maintain a presence because, I mean, he's got very few counters to the Tiger tanks. I mean, a well sort of supported attack around the Tiger could very well go through, Fish like a wrecking ball through a house of cards. There you go, Rafnade off. And this is probably also where Pentagon days would be, reasonably helpful. But there you go, we've got the heavy Pentagon going up there for Fortune. Veterans on the Tiger tank. Damaged engine on the now Vetsy 2 EC8. He could try and lay down the smoke screen to help cover his retreat. In east there we got rifle formations fighting against Grenadiers, light machine guns, G33s, BARs and flamethrowers all sounding off. No attempted smoke. In this case though, Fortune backs off, not willing to risk his Tiger in this situation, not knowing what could be around this corner. Is he just pulling back or is he trying to bait Fortune into something very unpleasant? Fortune does not risk it, which is understandable. But there you go, he can go for the Panther, the Panzerkampfwagen 5. So far he's showing no inclination towards calling it in to support his Tiger tank. There we go, Panther on my way there. That's going to give him a definite armitage there over Fish here. Who A needs to go for Jackson, but probably after that he needs to consider a captain and then go for anti-tank guns. And also needs to handle Jackson a bit more carefully now that he knows that Fortune is pretty on point there with his packs when it comes to supporting his tanks. There you go, second Jackson on the way there for Fish and the 2nd Armour Division. Nice hit there from the Tiger. A lot of mortar fire raining down. Almost got the eastern half here. But yeah, Fish is interesting enough just heavily relying on 50 calibers. You can also see a bit of an issue there because you can't upgrade the 50 caliber, say, with bazookas just to help, you know, overcome some of the issues got in dealing with armor. I mean, in that regard, the 50 calibers run into an issue if, you know, suddenly he got hit with tanks. So again, if you truly replace it in the rifle with the 50 calibers, there's clearly a flaw here in it. And obviously, by Walton Society want to replace upgrade rifle with bazookas, you know, in these situations, you know, it might be the better just up deal with the Tiger, and of course now the Panthers that arrive support the Tiger. So now we'll have to see those Fortune and then use them effectively. And what is this? We got Stuka close air support. Looks like he's preparing an assault against Fish, though feels like he's using it a bit prematurely. He should probably wait to bait his opponent into it. Of course, the argument could be made he's just using it to cover up an assault, sort of limited scale there. Tiger tank turning into the 50 caliber. They've got a Panther flying in here, going for the EC8. There you go. Still close air support, hitting the Jackson slightly. Sounding not too efficiently. And there you go. So penetrating hits from the Panthers. 80mm of sloped armor, forcing the Panzerkampfwagen back. Lieutenant Dietrich realizes that courage alone cannot carry the day. So that's going to need some repairs. He's going for more pioneers now, though, which is definitely good. Interesting enough, though, he's leaving the west side rather than attached. I mean, a good armoured assault here with a bit of support could quickly clear up the 50 calibers and open up the entire western half of the map here, allowing him to seize the other victory point. Maybe, you know, get a fast bleed in there on Fish. There you go, more White Phosphorus. He's very good and keen on using White Phosphorus, which certainly makes it harder for Fortune to maintain defense because it very much makes it difficult for Fortune to maintain. And there you go, Tiger tanks, line of fire blocked up, Jack firing covering fire for the infantry as they slowly push towards the victory point there. So we got the mortars here providing artillery support for the Tiger tank. Panther awaiting repairs. Rather than getting shot at by the Tiger. And there we go, got Veggie 2 for the Tiger as they suddenly gain a deeper understanding of the art of killing Americans. Panther going for the Jackson, taking a direct hit there though from the Jackson in return. Needs to pull that out for repairs. That Panther does not have much longer to live. Rather than getting blasted slowly to bits by the Tiger tank. And taking a lot of hits here from all of the American armor. He might want to consider laying down the smoke screen with his mortars to cover the Tiger, maybe. You see it, they're rolling in. He's almost lost the Tiger's sliver health. There we got one pack 40 coming up. There you got the Panther even moving up. He's risking the Panther to save the Tiger. Definitely the right decision. Tiger barely surviving here, and it looks like he's falling back here. The pack and Panther threat on the flanks does compel Fish to fall back here. They need to be careful with this Panther as well. HVAP rounds here could actually maybe allow him to take it out. That was some pretty close stuff there, though, between Fortune and Fish. Right now, though, I would point out he's spinning up his pioneers to repair either tank, which means he's overall going to be doing it less efficiently. I mean, if we were to focus on the Tiger, he could quickly bring that into the fight. If we were to focus on the Panther, he could bring that fast into the fight, you know, give him more time to repair the other one. But instead, he's just sort of repairing either, meaning he could be forced to commit both in a very poor state against his opponent. There's definitely some potential problems here for Fortune. So Panther being fixed up, Tiger being fixed up. Isn't getting shot at by the light machine gun, multiplying accurate covering fire. Panther being slowly fixed up there. And there you go, got relief into the Fortune, calling up the reserves of Ostrom to fill out the gaps in his lines as they just get beaten asunder there by American firepower. Though for some reason he's sending in his mortar first. I think if Fish had gone for maybe some more infantry instead of just all these 50 calibers, he might in some ways be in a better position. But that might just be mortar that's taking hits there from the EC8, which is actually really close to it, it's only 3. Raft grenades, light machine gun fire against the mortar. But we got Ravner counter-attacking. EC8 line covering fire as well. The ground in the centre there, battered, broken. Alongside a large number of mangled bodies. All of the light cover from all the craters turning into this rather brutal melee where the EC8 is struggling to provide accurate cover fire. supporting fire. We got one awesome squad out here for Fortune just as the time runs out. We can upgrade the light machine gun for additional firepower versus the Yankees. So we got the Panther good to go. Need to be careful not to just rush it ahead. In particular, his opponent just pops HVAC rounds, which increases damage. Though a lot of American players never seem to use the HVAC rounds ability despite being pretty good. Which is the one thing that always amazes me. The HVAC round ability. Before the Jackson who got changed was amazing. It's still amazing though, really. There you go. Recruiting the Pack 40 with the Ostrom. 137 to 352 here. Close and desperate fire. We got the Tiger tank sitting out there. Moving ahead. And there you go. Jackson in range of the Pack 40 again. But clearly, I mean, Fortune and Fish are sort of in a sort of standoff situation where neither player really wants to commit to a big assault and risk it. Also, they're sort of just making small pinpoint attacks. They all just sort of got caught up in this Stalingrad-like situation on the center where they're hoping to ground the other one down. But Fortune so far has got the advantage due to some, I think, misplaced there by Fish, and again, just a lack of infantry. And in this regard, Fortune very much enjoys a tactical advantage due to larger numbers of infantry. And the part, again, he's also just using his 50 calibers very inflexibly. I mean, again, if you use them to replace the infantry, at least use them somewhat supported, but the 50 calibers just used to hold ground. So that means Fortune's already got a much larger active part of his force while having a larger force overall than Fish, who's got, again, some part of his force that are smaller, but even then, some parts where he's just utterly inactive, doing nothing for them. So there's some problems there for Fish, to be honest, in terms of his strategy versus Fortune. He's hitting his repairs. Jackson, though, again, Betty 2 could hit Betty 3. It would really be mean then if he actually remembers to use HVAC rounds with it. He's going for another EC8, obviously, to sort of help support the tanks and push ahead. Relying then, of course, for the Jacks with the primary tank punching power. And there you go, Panther moving it straight into the Jackson. Direct hit, we got Vetty 2 on the Panther. Vetty 2, you see it opening up with sort of shot bounces. Still not 8-round rounds though from the Jackson. Still not 8-round rounds. Panther there pulls back with Schutz now attached to the side. And we got the EC almost on there for Fish. Also munitions cache up here, probably to help support munitions for air support. And he's going for a 450 caliber? It certainly seems like he's using it just to make up for infantry, but again, he's not using them as infantry. And they do lack some of the ability the infantry have, which again is the ability to deal with the tanks. And the tanks are certainly looking to be a very key point here of Fortune's forces, so it feels strange he's not really taking them that seriously. It's either that he's just suffered some kind of mental backfire and can't consider the option at all. Jackson is slowly hitting Betty 3, though it is within range of the Tigers, so he needs to be careful about that. EC8 going in for the Panther, Pack 40 supporting here, could be a bit of a problem. Betty 3 on the Jackson. Double Pack 40s and the Panther against the EC8, and there you go, cooking up one of Fish's tanks without any infantry support. He sent it in there completely blind, not knowing it was there. They should have had a reasonable idea again where the Pack 40s were. So that was definitely not an amazing move there by Fish. Seems like he's getting a bit desperate. He's starting to make moves that aren't entirely making sense in an attempt to break Fortune here. Troops reinforcing, healing. Tiger taking dying repairs though. Made good use of its range though, which against a bit of extra bonus there from Betty 2. And of course the accuracy also against the Betty 2. Panther almost got to go again. Fish though remains adamant in not utilising HVAC rounds. I'm a bit amazed at that. Shot fired by the Jackson. Centre rifle grenade doesn't go off. There you go, another hit from the Jackson. Ralph pulling in. He could try and anti-tank Ralph, except he has it seems. So there you go. Then range, takes a few hits, forces back the Jackson, which wasn't repaired. It seems like there's finally some more movement there for Fish, but the 50 calibers are not part of it, really. I mean, there's one here, but the other one still remains there, and some of the others are just here and there as well. It just seems like Fish is not quite full. Oh, he's sending in the Panther now after the EC8. And almost got it. Target weak upon there, stuns it, and the Panther finishes off. The Panther's very close there to eventually flee. And the ace status. Still got the Jackson there. HVAP rounds, come on. Penetrating hit. Had it been HVAP rounds there, that Panther I think would have been dead. Jackson the snaps a pack crew member. Good work. Direct hit there on the Tiger tank. Another EC8 there for Fish and the second armoured. Fortune and the second or first SS pulling back its armour for now for repairs. Most desperately needed. Also, this is going to be the first Wehrmacht Panther I've seen in the new packs that has so far lasted as long. I think to a large extent it relies basically on the Tiger also being there, so the Tiger essentially absorbs all of Fish's attention, meaning the Panther actually becomes less of a priority, which means it has a higher likelihood of surviving because Fish's attention is always going to be on the Tiger. He's going to be thinking about the Tiger. He's going to be dreaming about the Tiger. That means the Panther just isn't going to be quite as heavily focused down, and that I think increases his chance of surviving. But it also does help again that Fish, like so many American players, just isn't particularly good at using HVAP rounds. It's an interesting flaw they have. A bit like how a lot of Wehrmacht players tend to focus in the centre, a lot of American players just tend to really be rubbish at using HVAP. There you go, Panther's good to go. Tiger needs to fall back and get repaired. So now it seems like he's at least alternating the two tanks here versus Fish. There you go. Ooh, if he gets a good shot on the Jackson, they could. There we go. Hit virtually fleet, increased mobility, increased rate of fire for the fatherland. Another hit there. The other thing he return it, in fact, just falls back with the Panther. Initiation from the right decision. He's got this was Major and the EC8 here. Oh, that was actually the ace. Or he got saved the crew and actually got. I think he did actually. Yeah, that's why he did. He actually saved the crew from the ace there and then just popped into the tank. That's actually the first time I've seen someone do that in ages, like literal ages. It's one of the features of the Americans. Some people have saved, of course, partly because it's tricky to actually save a crew in time, but he actually did it. That's really impressive. Again, we're talking months, if not at least a year, if not more, that I've seen someone use this feature of the Americans. God almighty. That deserves a round of applause. Deserves clap, clap, clap for Fish. God damn. I mean, he might have fumbled in a lot of ways, but that's damn impressive. I want to support the Tiger with the Panther then. Fortune? Why not? Still allowing the Tiger to take hits. Stonekin. He is blessed by the fact that Fish, for his other skills, still has that HVAP flaw. Grabbing the point on the 5 from the 50 caliber. He's got no support. He could try and move more to smoke. I'm surprised he hasn't done more Rasp in the West, to be honest. Feels a bit a mistake there by Fortune. And the big crew just sort of standing about with the wending. So, when do we get to drive a tank again? Yeah, they just said they were taking it for a spin, you know, to test it to make sure it was safe first, and they haven't come back. Got the Western there, but need to retreat the Pioneers before they get annihilated. Panther Tiger is barely getting repaired since one of the Pioneer squads went off there. Pack moving up there. Ace tank destroyer crew at the ready. Need to fall back with the ace and EC8 and repair it. We've used the other crew to help repair it. Which is going to be a big loss if the reverse loses ace EC8. That would just be a complete loss there for Fish. Notice they're getting bombarded to death. Armor just hanging back there. Wipe something. Oh dear, still repair the tank. Fish. Repair it. Okay, one you can't repair. To repair. Re-systems, vehicle crews. The crew itself. And there you go. Final repairs on the Panther happening again. The Ace. Which is instant enough not been repaired. I mean, upgraded. It is being repaired, but I meant pin that machine. Well, there you go. EC8 unrepaired, though, moves in the front of the EC8. There you go, takes it from the Pack 40, gets knocked out. Oh dear, could lose the Jackson as well. Right from the Pack 40 and the Ace Panther. The Panther that falls back. The Jackson's almost dead here to the 982 Pack 40. Misses. Tiger Tank moving in there. Which is also now almost ace level. There you go, direct hit from the Jackson. Pack going to hit it off on the Jackson. Might get off another hit. And there you go, the Jackson is down alongside most of Fish's remaining forces. Leaving him now in a precarious situation, and that's Fish surrenders. The second armored division falls back, beaten senseless here by the 1st SS and a few tanks. Certainly some interesting play there of Fortune and some from Fish, but overall I think the Fish's major issue was just in part, again, at times too passive, but also just all these 50 calibers to replace the infantry. And, you know, leaving him very vulnerable to tanks. I mean, he at least had a few rifle squads, or even rearson squads with bazookas. He probably could have pressured the Tiger Tank a lot more than he actually was able to. So I think there were some issues there just in terms of, you know, how he was organising his forces that made it easy for Fortune to push. Yeah, Fortune at the time still was also a bit too passive. There's some issues there as well. I feel could also push out for additional armor support the Tiger faster than if the Panther. But in the end, it did work out there. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, want to subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If you're not, send in a replay and provide some feedback in the comment section. And if you like what I do consider donating or pledging on Patreon, as that helps me out a ton doing this. You know, helps pay for food and rent. So do consider. Links in the video description. This is Imperial Dancing. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye.